Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day 2 of the Accessible Qatar Conference. This conference, of course, is proudly brought to you by SASOL, Indefinitely Abled, and is powered by Project Qatar and supported by the Qatar Tourism Authority. For those of you who were here yesterday, welcome back. For those of joining us for the first time, I hope you enjoy what is going to be a fairly information-packed session today. I think it's worth recapping yesterday, seeing that this conference did make the headlines in this morning's paper, that accessible tourism is clearly of significant importance to this region. It was great to see Qatar Tourism Authority so firmly behind this initiative to make this region a world-class accessible destination. The key things that came out of yesterday was clear that this is a major business opportunity for the Gulf region. It is something, though, that has to be driven by the customer and the customer experience, and not necessarily by just compliance to accessibility. The other clear message I think that came out of yesterday was don't be afraid to have a go, because accessible tourism is something, like most things in tourism, is a moving feast. What is right today will not be right tomorrow. And not doing anything because you're not 100% certain that it's 100% correct is not a good business practice, as it is in any other tourism product. So I think the clear message was, have a go, get involved, get people with a disability involved in what you're doing, take feedback and modify your product. That's enough of yesterday. I guess yesterday was about the high level. Today we're concentrating more on some specifics. We're going to look at sport, especially with the World Cup coming up in 2022, which is significant for Qatar. We have another session coming up after that, which is to do with tourism, and not tourism, with employment. Employment is often talked about with people with a disability. One of the highest per capita, per dollar revenue industries for employment is tourism. This is a perfect opportunity for people with a disability to be employed, because that skill set now is going to be in demand in developing tourism product. That will be a fascinating session. And we round out with a session on theme parks to finalise today. But without further ado, we have a panel here to talk about what are we talking about? Experience and 2020. Let me introduce with Najla El Biden, Senior Architect at the Supreme Committee for Delivery and Legacy. The Supreme Committee for Delivery and Legacy is responsible for developing all infrastructure and host country planning and operations required for Qatar to host an amazing and historic FIFA World Cup in 2020. Najla graduated from the College of Architecture and Urban Planning in Qatar University. Since then, she has been involved in all FIFA World Cup stadium and infrastructure projects. Najla is currently working with the Technical Delivery Office, specialising in stadium design and transformational requirements for all venues to ensure successful delivery of the tournament and its legacy. Mr. Amir Al-Mullah has been Managing Director of the Qatar Society of Rehabilitation and Special Needs. He holds several positions at the Qatar Paralympic Committee, up to the post of QPC Managing Director. He is a social counselling instructor at the Ministry of Education and Higher Education, and is a member of several organisations which include the Arab Network of Non-Government Organisations in Egypt, the Organising Committee for the Special Education Conference, the Gulf Disability Society, and the Medical Classification Committee of the West Asian Paralympic Committee. Mark Todd. Mark Todd is a disabled person with 30 years accessibility experience. He provided all accessibility advice to the London 2012 Games, Right Near Accessibility Transport Plan, advising on accessibility to venues, ticketing policy, operations. In recent years, he's acted as accessibility expert to Sochi 2014 Winter Games, Rio 2016, and currently advises the Pyeongchang 2018 Winter Games and Tokyo 2020. Mark is co-author of the International Paralympic Committee Manual on Accessibility and sits on their Global Accessibility Expert Panel. In recognition of his work, Mark was awarded the British Empire Medal in 2013, Queen's New Year's Day Honours List. Guy Davies is the founding and managing director of Disability Solutions. Guy has completed 2 courses at the Centre for Accessible Environments in London and his master's degree in Accessibility Inclusive Design through the University of Salford, Manchester. He has had extensive experience in the field of accessible transportation and has been involved in the universal design of the following projects: City of Cape Town Multi-City System, the Rustenburg Rapid Transport System, Cape Town Railway Station refurbishment, Cape Town International Airport redevelopment, and the National Accessibility Guidelines for PRASA, Metro, Rail and Interstate. He was also appointed Universal Design Consultant for the following FIFA stadiums: Greenpoint Stadium and the Nelson Mandela Multi-Purpose Stadium. Aside from these projects, he has been involved in over 1,000 different projects in the last 11 years, and his clients range from government departments through to major South African corporations. Please make the panel welcome. To start the session rolling, it is my pleasure to now hand over to Najla.
Thank you so much. معكم نجلة العبيدان، مهندسة معمارية في اللجنة العليا للمشاريع والإرث. بس قبل ما أبدأ معاكم حابين نعرض فيديو قصير مدته تقريباً 4 دقائق بس يبين شغل اللجنة في ال4 سنوات.
Qatar won the right to host the 2022 FIFA World Cup, a once-in-a-generation opportunity to showcase this unique country and region was created. Qatar is realizing a vision for the future that will define a nation and a region for generations to come. The tournament will open the door to new worlds. A new world of intercultural understanding, a new world of opportunities and development, and a new world of experiences at the tournament and beyond. Accessible, sustainable, and truly remarkable, Qatar's compact and connected hosting plan ensures a FIFA World Cup like no other. The country's infrastructure is being transformed. An ultra-modern airport, expressways, and a new metro system will be in place by 2022. An abundance of hotels and other accommodation options will cater to every type of visitor, with experiences ranging from classic luxury, authentic Bedouin-style camping, and serviced apartments, ideal for families and large groups of travelling supporters. Fans will have a maximum travel time between stadiums of just 1 hour. For the first time in the modern era, fans will be able to attend multiple FIFA World Cup matches in a single day. Reduced travel times will also help Qatar achieve another first. The tournament will be the first fully carbon-neutral FIFA World Cup, a green milestone that reiterates Qatar's commitment to sustainability while providing a lasting legacy for the region and the world. The jewels in the crown are the state-of-the-art stadiums being built and renovated for the tournament. They will feature innovative new cooling technologies, iconic designs, and fully detachable upper tiers that will be distributed to developing countries after the tournament, creating a legacy that will last long after the final whistle in 2022. The stadiums are being woven into the urban fabric of the communities, creating vibrant, multi-use neighbourhoods that will cater to local needs and become hubs for culture, commerce, and education. Stadium locations were all selected based on their potential for legacy use, existing infrastructure and available services, as well as Qatar's sustainability commitments. All are aligned with the nation's long-term development plans and the Qatar National Vision 2030. Team base camps will be a home away from home for the competing nations. Paired with world-class training facilities and less than an hour away from the stadiums, travel times will be cut dramatically, allowing for more training and relaxation. Players will be in peak physical condition, able to provide the ultimate spectacle in elite sport on the world's greatest stage. There will be an abundance of options for supporters away from the stadiums who still want to soak up the special FIFA World Cup atmosphere. Across Qatar, fan zones will provide family-friendly spaces to watch matches together and create more wonderful memories of the unifying power of the beautiful game. By harnessing the innovative spirit of Qatar, its values and its renowned hospitality, the tournament will change the way football is experienced and change the face of a country and a region forever. Join us on a journey to an amazing new world.
مثل ما شفتوا فيديو بس سريع يختصر كل المشاريع اللي نشتغل عليها في اللجنة. طبعا من ضمن هالمشاريع في شيء اللي هو اسمه منتدى التمكين. منتدى التمكين انعقد في 22 نوفمبر 2016. طبعا أطلقناه مع منظمات وممثلين عن الحكومة ذوي الإعاقة بهدف مناقشة أفضل السبل لجعل بطولة كأس العالم لكرة القدم 2022 شاملة ومتاحة للجميع. الخطوات القادمة سينعقد هذا المنتدى لمدة 3 مرات في السنة من أجل توفير النصح والإرشاد للجنة العليا وشركائها حول بعض متطلبات ذوي الإعاقة وسبل تمكين جميع فئات المجتمع من حضور البطولة، إلى جانب تعزيز خطط الإرث المستدام. كان في هذا المنتدى حضور حوالي 160 شخص، 40% منهم من ذوي الإعاقة. الجهات المشاركة كانت مستشفى حمد، مركز أونتاريو، مركز تنمية الطفل، روضة سانبيم، والمركز الاجتماعي والثقافة المكفوفين والصم. في هذا المنتدى صار في نفس ورشة عصف ذهني. اخترنا من هذه الورشة 5 أولويات. أولها اعتمدنا الدليل الهندسي المعايير التخطيطية والتنظيمية الخاصة لذوي الإعاقة للمباني والمنشآت. الجهة المختصة كانت أو الجهة المسؤولة كانت وزارة البلدية والبيئة. الأولوية الثانية كانت اعتماد الدليل الإرشادي لذوي الإعاقة الحركية حول كيفية استخدام النقل العام من وإلى المطار. الجهة المسؤولة كانت وزارة المواصلات والاتصالات. ثالث شيء عندنا تدريب موظفي المطار والفنادق التعامل مع الأشخاص ذوي الإعاقة بصورة عامة. الجهة المسؤولة كانت مطار حمد الدولي والهيئة العامة للسياحة. رابع شيء عندنا دمج ذوي الإعاقة في برنامج المتطوعين الخاص ببطولة كأس العالم 2022. الجهة المسؤولة كانت احنا اللجنة العليا. وخامس شيء عندنا تشكيل آليات عمل لمشاركة ذوي الإعاقة في تخطيط وتنفيذ المشاريع مع في جميع الجهات المشاركة في المنتدى من خلال ورش عمل ستقام على مدار السنة. الجهة المسؤولة جميع المشاركين في المنتدى. طبعا مهم أن نعرف عن رؤية اللجنة العليا ومهمتها. أنشأت اللجنة العليا سنة 2011 تولى مسؤولية تنفيذ المشاريع البنية التحتية لازم لاستضافة كأس العالم، ووضع المخططات والقيام بالعمليات التشغيلية التي تجريها قطر كدولة مستضيفة للبطولة لتساهم بذلك في تسريع عجلة التطور والتنمية. رؤيتنا تنفيذ مشاريع البنى التحتية وخطط الدولة وعملياتها التشغيلية بكل نجاح بما يتماشى مع الخطط الوطنية للتنمية وخلق إرث دائم لقطر. مهمتنا توظيف استضافة قطر بطولة كأس العالم لكرة القدم من أجل تحقيق أهداف ومبادرة الدولة على المدى البعيد وخلق إرث بشري واجتماعي وبيئي واقتصادي دائم للبطولة. هل التزمت اللجنة العليا باعتماد تصاميم شاملة؟ التزمنا بتصاميم شاملة طبقنا أعلى المعايير وأفضل الممارسات معتمدة في التصاميم الشاملة. جعلنا هالشيء محفز، أو استخدمنا كأس العالم كمحفز لتحسين استعداد البطولة وما بعدها. هدف اللجنة العليا وأين يتم اعتماد التصاميم الشاملة، هذا الهيكل التنظيمي لكأس العالم. وش عندنا الأسية Supreme Committee اللي هو اللجنة العليا. احنا نقوم تنفيذ مشاريع نفس ما قلت البنى التحتية والإرث والعمليات التشغيلية والمرتبطة بالاستضافة. وعندنا بعدين اللجنة المحلية التنظيمية اللي هي تقوم تنظيم الفعالية وتنظيم البطولة. وفيفا طبعا هم الاتحاد الدولي لكرة القدم. وين يتم اعتماد تصاميم شاملة؟ طبعا عن طريقنا احنا اللي نطبق هالشيء. في عدة مراجع اعتمدناها في اللجنة العليا، تقريبا 16 مرجع، مثل روسيا 2018، ريو 2016، عندنا الانترناشنال بارالمبيك كوميتي، وعندنا أيضا حقوق الإنسان الكندية. بعدين كيف ستطبق المعايير؟ عندنا 4 معايير أساسية نستخدمها في التصميم. أول شيء المعايير والقوانين القطرية، عندنا التمكين العالمي وأفضل الممارسات، وعندنا معايير الفعاليات العامة والرياضية والمتطلبات الثقافية. هال4 أشياء نجمعها كلها ونطبقها على التصاميم عندنا. شنو الأشياء اللي نطبق فيها التمكين في الاستادات؟ طبعا أول شيء عندنا المداخل كلها بتكون مهيئة بالكامل لاستضافة الأشخاص ذوي الإعاقة. عندنا الأثاث المدني اللي هو ستريت فرنتشر، اللي هو يعني كل الأثاث في الأماكن العامة وفي الحدائق بيكون مهيأ للأشخاص ذوي الإعاقة. عندنا نفس الشيء البيئة الصحية اللي هي دورات المياه. عندنا نقاط الاستعلامات، أيضا خدمات المتفرجين. مقاعد المتفرجين بنخصص أكيد مقاعد للمتفرجين. طبعا في نسبة نعتمدها من كم على حسب حجم الاستاد، يكون حجم أو نسبة المقاعد لذوي الإعاقة. بنتكلم أكثر بالتفصيل في السلايد اللي بعده. عندنا اللافتات والإشارات أكيد بعد راح تكون مهيئة لأشخاص ذوي الإعاقة، خصوصا للمكفوفين. الخروج في حالات الطوارئ وخدمات الطوارئ. المواصلات والمواقف، أكيد كل المواصلات راح تكون مهيئة، وكذلك المواقف في مواقف مخصصة. وأيضا هناك في نسبة نعتمدها للمواقف، إن كم موقف نحتاج من أصل المواقف اللي عندنا. الأماكن العامة مثل ما قلت. ودرجة الانحدار هي المقعد في درجة معينة يطلبونها الفيفا في الكراسي، إن شلون الزاوية، إن شلون نقدر نشوف الملعب. طبعا هذه راح تختلف لأشخاص ذوي الإعاقة في درجة خاصة لهم، بالإضافة إلى الإضاءة. هني بالإضافة لكل اللي سبق وقلته، في أماكن مخصصة للهيئات الإعلامية يسهل وصول الصحفيين الإعلاميين ذوي الإعاقة إليها. يعني إحنا أخذنا بعين الاعتبار أيضا الصحفيين ذوي الإعاقة، وكذلك بنوفر أجهزة المساعدة للسمع في جميع أنحاء الملعب. هني نفس ما قلت لكم، مثلا نأخذ على سبيل المثال إذا عندنا ملعب 40,000 متفرج، مقاعد سهلة الوصول، مقاعد مخصصة للكراسي المحركة بتكون 210، بالإضافة لكرسي مجاور للمرافق. مقاعد سهلة الوصول للأشخاص الذين يعانون من محدودية الحركة أو صعوبة في التنفس أو أمراض القلب يكون 70 من أصل 40,000. عندنا أيضا للأشخاص الذين يعانون من محدودية الحركة وعدم القدرة على ركبهم 70,000 مقعد. وآخر شيء عندنا الأشخاص الذين يعانون من حجم زائد 70 مقعد. هذه شيء اعتمدناه مؤخرا في تصاميمنا، أن بتكون هناك غرفة مهيئة الكامل لمرضى التوحد وأسرهم. بنطبق هذا الشيء قبل كأس العالم كتجربة، سواء في كأس الأمير أو كأس الخليج. الحين حابة أتكلم بشكل عام أو بصورة عامة عن مشاريع اللجنة العليا. طبعا هني ما راح أعرض لكم جميع المشاريع، فقط المشاريع اللي تم الإعلان عنها. أول شيء عندنا أستاذ خليفة. أستاذ خليفة هو تحت مؤسسة أسباير زون. المفروض افتتاحه يكون هالشهر تاريخ 19 مع كأس الأمير. هو يسع 40,000 متفرج، وما بعد البطولة بيتم 40,000 متفرج. طبعا هو يمكن يعتبر من أقدم الاستادات في قطر، تم بناءه سنة 1976. اللي يميز هذا الاستاد أو هذا الملعب أنه بيكون في متحف رياضي، هو أول متحف رياضي في قطر. عندنا الاستاد الثاني استاد الوكرة، راح يتم افتتاحه في الربع الأول من 2018. يسع 40,000 متفرج. بعد البطولة بتقل عدد المقاعد ل20,000 متفرج. طبعا هو تم تصميمه من قبل المصممة المعمارية العالمية زاها حديد. استاد الوكرة في عدة أشياء، يعني غير أنه هو بس مكان رياضي، هو مكان عام أو مكان ترفيهي. بيكون في مدرسة، بيكون في قاعة احتفالات، بيكون في فندق، وفي أماكن مفتوحة وحدائق عامة. ثالث استاد عندنا استاد البيت، هو ثاني أكبر استاد، بيكون يسع 60,000 متفرج، يقع في الخور. تم يعني المصمم استوحى الفكرة من بيت الشعر. هذا الاستاد بيكون مثل ما قلت 60,000 متفرج، بيقل لتقريبا 20,000 متفرج ما بعد البطولة. واللي يميز هذا الاستاد أنه هو يمكن أكثر استاد بيكون مخلوط بين الاستخدام الرياضي والاستخدام العام، في أماكن مفتوحة. يعني حول الملعب بيكون حوالي عندنا 20 مطعم أو 20 مطعم وكافيه. عندنا حدائق عامة، عندنا يعني في كذا شغلة يعني. رابع استاد الريان، هو نفس مكان استاد الريان، بس القديم تم هدم القديم وإعادة إنشاء استاد جديد. يسع 40,000 متفرج، مع بعد البطولة بيصير 20,000 متفرج. بيكون يعني the home of بيكون حق نادي الريان. وبيكون هالاستاد بس تقريبا بيكون 95% من استخدامه رياضي. جميع المنشآت اللي حوله رياضية. بالإضافة إلى ملاعب التدريب، ملاعب التدريب عددها للحين مو محدد بالضبط، بس هي راح تكون أكيد فوق 40 ملعب تدريب. بنستخدم ملاعب التدريب اللي موجودة أساساً في النوادي، وبالإضافة إلى ملاعب التدريب في المدارس. وملاعب التدريب بعضها راح يتم إنشائها حق البطولة. تقريباً كل ملاعب التدريب في يمها فندق، أو ما يبعد عنها تقريباً 3 دقائق بالسيارة فندق. واللعيبة كلها راح يكونون يعني يمهم ملعب تدريب ما يكثر عن 1 كيلومتر. طبعا هذه بس المشاريع اللي نقدر نتكلم عنها. بالإضافة عندنا ملعب أو استاد الوسيل، وعندنا استاد ثمامة واستاد راس بعبود اللي ما تم الإعلان عنهم، وإن شاء الله يتم الإعلان عنهم خلال السنة. شكراً.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بداية أعرفكم بنفسي، أمير الملا، مدير الاتحاد القطري رياضي ذوي الاحتياجات الخاصة. أشكر اللجنة المنظمة على هذه الفعالية، وعلى هذا المؤتمر الطيب. وأيضا الشكر موصول لشركة سوشيال على دعمهم دائما لفعاليات الخاصة بذوي الإعاقة. الشيء بالشيء يذكر، أنا حبيت بس أنوه عن نقطة مهمة. المهندسة نجلة كانت لها زيارة لي في قبل 4 سنوات تقريبا، أعتقد بس أيوة قبل 4 سنوات تقريبا، وكان اهتمامها ينصب على قضية التسهيلات اللي لابد أن نيسرها للجمهور وللمستفيدين لمنشآت الملاعب الرياضية، وكانوا يعني اهتمامهم كبير جدا، وكان تعاملها مع جميع الجهات المختصة بذوي الإعاقة في الدولة. ولله الحمد يعني هذا العرض يبين أن هناك اهتمام. ويمكن احنا في بطولة العالم عملنا بروفة مسقرة عما هي تطرقت إليه بالتفصيل، يعني كانت بروفة. طبعا احنا نتكلم عن قطر ميسرة للجميع. أولا بطولة العالم لأول مرة تكون في المنطقة العربية، بالأخص في الشرق الأوسط وفي الخليج العربي. البطولة هذه كانت يعني من الصعب أن نستضيفها في الشرق الأوسط، بطولة العالم لذوي الإعاقة لألعاب القوة. ال6 نسخ السابقة كلها أقيمت في أوروبا، ال6 نسخ السابقة أقيمت في أوروبا، وكان هناك تحدي كبير أن تقام البطولة هنا في دولة قطر. طبعا البطولة أقمناها في تاريخ 21 إلى 31 أكتوبر 2015. أنا أتمنى بس يكون في عرض ما حق أنا عرض ولا أوكي. طبعا هناك إيمان كبير من اللجنة الأولمبية القطرية والاتحاد القطري لرياضة ذوي الاحتياجات الخاصة بأهمية استضافة هذا الحدث العالمي بالمنطقة العربية. ومن هذا المنطلق تم هناك وضع خطة شاملة، وخاصة رياضة ذوي الاحتياجات الخاصة لابد من توفير لجنة خاصة بالتصنيف الطبي، ولجنة المنافسات، ولجنة التدقيق والمواصلات، ولجنة الشؤون المالية، ولجنة القوى العاملة، واللجنة الإعلامية ولجنة المتطوعين. أنا حابب بس أنوه عن أمر مهم. رياضة ذوي الإعاقة أنشئت في المنطقة من 1990. احنا كان انضمامنا للIPC للجنة البارالمبية الدولية في 94 آسف. كانت المشاركات العربية بدأت فعليا من سنة 1996 في أتلانتا، أولمبياد أتلانتا، ومن بعدها توالت المشاركات. ويمكن المشاركة القطرية بدأت من 96 إلى ريو. طبعا كان البطولة هذه كان بتواجد سعادة الشيخ جوعان بن حمد آل ثاني رئيس اللجنة الأولمبية، والسيد فيليب كرافن رئيس لجنة الIPC، وأيضا الدكتور ثاني الكواري أمين عام اللجنة الأولمبية. يمكن احنا في البطولة هذه عانينا بعض الصعوبات، أكون أمين معاكم، ومن هذه الصعوبات تهيئة المطار. ويمكن كنا أيضا محظوظين أن المطار كان حديث، ولكن لابد أن يكون هناك بعض القصور، ولكن كان هناك تجاوب كبير من إدارة مطار حمد الدولي لتجاوز كل العقبات اللي نعاني منها. طبعا تم توفير موظفين لتسهيل الإجراءات الخاصة بالوفود القادمة، توفير الأيدي العاملة لتسهيل حركة الوفود القادمة، لنقل الأمتعة. وأنا أقصد بالأمتعة لأن ذوي الإعاقة يمتلكون الكثير من الأمتعة، كراسي خاصة للدورات المياه جلكم الله، كراسي خاصة بالسباقات، كراسي خاصة بالرمي. يعني لاعب الألعاب القوة عنده 3 كراسي، كرسي رمي، كرسي أجلكم الله دورة المياه، كرسي سباق. فكان لابد أن يكون فيه اهتمام بهذه المعدات، وخاصة تلف لأي معدة اللاعب راح يحرم من السباق، والعتب يكون على اللجنة المنظمة اللي احنا يعني مسؤولين عن هذا الأمر. وكان هناك أيضا تنسيق مع أمن المطار لتسهيل عملية الإجراءات الأمنية. واحنا تلافينا نقطة مهمة، تم يعني استثناء فئة المكفوفين من بصمة العين. يعني كنا بقدر الإمكان نحاول نتلاشى يعني الأخطاء التي حصلت في النسخ السابقة. وطبعا مطار حمد الدولي مطابق للمقاييس والمواصفات الدولية ومجهزة لاستقبال الأشخاص ذوي الإعاقة وميسرة ولله الحمد. طبعا المشكلة الثانية اللي واجهتنا الفنادق، وأكون أمين معاكم في المنطقة عموما ما في فنادق مجهزة. أنا أنسى السلايدات معلش أنا آسف. في الفنادق عموما الغرف المجهزة لذوي الإعاقة عددها بسيط جدا يعني لا يذكر. تلقى في فندق 5 ستار فيها يمكن 3 غرف مجهزة إلى 4 غرف. وبالتالي قبل الحدث ب3 سنوات أو 4 سنوات كان هناك لقاء مع عدد من الفنادق أزدان، الهيلتون، الماريوت، هوليدي إن، موفنبيك، وذلك من أجل توفير عدد 300 غرفة مجهزة لمستخدمي الكراسي وللإعاقات الشديدة. وكان هذا تحدي كبير، وكان إيمان من فنادقنا في قطر أن لابد أن ننجز هذا الأمر، ولله الحمد. على سبيل المثال لا الحصر، فندق أزدان جهز لنا 300 غرفة مهيئة لذوي الإعاقة، واليوم موجودة ممكن تطلعون عليها. وأيضا السبب الرئيسي أنهم جهزوا هالغرف أن قدرنا نقنعهم أن هذه الغرف تتلائم مع مستخدمي الكراسي وذوي الإعاقة ومع الأشخاص العاديين. فبالتالي أيضا يعني إدارات الفنادق في نهاية اليوم ينظرون لعملية البزنس، business is business يعني end of the day. فبالتالي قدرنا نقنعهم يعني بمعطيات تخدمهم في المستقبل. طبعا يعني في أشياء فنية بسيطة، يعني مثلا أزلنا بعض الأثاث، جهزنا بعض الدورات المياه بأمور خاصة بذوي الإعاقة، غيرنا هيئة الأبواب على أساس تتلائم مع دخول الكراسي. وبالفعل يعني قدرنا أن نجهز عدد 350 غرفة، وتم منح الفنادق عندنا شهادة بهذا الأمر من اللجنة البارالمبية الدولية، وهي ليست شهادة من اللجنة المنظمة العليا للعلم. وتم تصميم العديد من المنحدرات، والمنحدرات حسب كود البناء، وارجع واقول حسب كود البناء، لتتناسب مع مستخدمي الكراسي، لأن بعض المنحدرات للأسف تعمل وتكون سبب في الإعاقة ثانية لمستخدمي الكراسي، فلا بد أن ننتبه لهذا الأمر. طبعا التصميم الهندسي الخاص هذا البرنامج عمل به، معلش أنا أخرج من الموضوع. الدليل الهندسي الخاص برنامج عمل أيام المجلس الأعلى لشؤون الأسرة، وهي ورث للمجلس الأعلى لشؤون الأسرة، وتم تسليمه لوزارة البلدية والأشغال. طبعا البرنامج هذا كان على يعني القائمين عليه كثر من مهتمين من ذوي الإعاقة، فلله الحمد. يعني أنا سمعت كلام طيب أنه ممكن يرى النور، وهناك كود بناء نلتزم به جميعا، والأمور تصبح ميسرة لذوي الإعاقة، وهي ليست بشطارة من أمير الملة أو من أي أحد فينا، ولكن هو كود بناء الالتزام به ييسر على الجميع. طبعا نجيكم للملاعب. الملاعب مثل ما تشوفون أنا أحب أني أنوه عن عملية فنية مهمة. رياضة ذوي الإعاقة فيما يخص الجري، فيما يخص الميدان والمضمار، في لعبتين ميدان ومضمار. الميدان نقصد فيه رمي القلة، رمي الغرس، رمي الرمح، رمي طبعا ما عندنا مطرقة في ذوي الإعاقة. طبعا الميدان لابد يتم تثبيت فيها كراسي الرمي. لاعب ذوي الإعاقة لابد أنه يجلس على كرسي الرمي، ما يلعب هو واقف، مستحيل يلعب هو على كرسي. طبعا أيضا المضمار يلعبون في فئة الشلل، الإعاقة الحركية، والإعاقة الحركية تندرج تحت فئة شلل الأطفال. السي بي الشلل الدماغي، وارجع واقول السي بي فيها فئات من 1 إلى 8، وأيضا الإعاقة الحركية شلل الأطفال فيها فئات 54 53 52 56 57. مثلا كل ما طلعنا فوق نلقى أن عنده إصابة في رجل واحدة على سبيل المثال لا الحصر. فكان تحدي كبير جدا لنا في الملعب، لأن الملعب مهيأ ومجهز للأشخاص العاديين، فقمنا بعمل الممرات الخاصة، بعمل اللفت الخاص لكبار الضيوف، وأيضا قمنا بإعداد أسانسيرات مجهزة للجماهير، وراح تشوفون في السلايدات الثانية. وتم طبعا أيضا كان عندنا 630 متطوع. تم عقد العديد من الدورات التدريبية والتوعوية للمتطوعين قبل البطولة بفترة زمنية كبيرة، يمكن سنة ونص، وبعدها ب6 شهور و3 شهور، دورات مكثفة وكانت هدفنا من إقامة هذه الدورات أن نعرفهم بأنواع الإعاقة وكيفية التعامل مع أشخاص ذوي الإعاقة لتجنب الحرج، لأن ذوي الإعاقة إن لم يطلب منك المساعدة فما لك حق أنك تساعده، هذا عرف. طبعا أيضا تم أنا أيضا برجع بالأمس يعني سمعنا خبر حلو أن الفيفا عقدت مشروع عمل مع الخطوط القطرية. 5 minutes is not enough to be fair with you. اوكي، عملت عقد مع الخطوط القطريه انها تكون راعي رسمي والناقل الرسمي. طبعا عقدنا العديد من الدورات للمضيفين الجويين والارضيين في التعامل مع الكفيف، مع ذوي الاعاقه الحركيه، مع الشلل الدماغي. طبعا كانت هناك غرفه عمليات في فندق أزدان، يعني الوفد يجي نحاول ان النسبة او الوقت اللي نملكه 30 دقيقة ان ننهي اجراءاته كلها. طبعا المواصلات وما ادراكم ما المواصلات كانت هي يعني مثل ما يقولون يعني الشريان التاجي لنجاح اي بطولة، المواصلات. ولله الحمد اشتغلنا على الموضوع قرابة 6 أشهر، واستطعنا ان نقنع الشركة بأن هذه المواصلات ممكن أنها تعود مواصلات لأشخاص عاديين. بعد انتهاء البطولة يمكن جهزنا أكثر من 120 شاتل أو باص خاص لذوي الإعاقة بالمعايير العالمية لضمان سلامتهم. ومثل ما تلاحظون في مشدات أرضية أساس نتجنب أي إصابة للاعب. وأيضا كان هناك تأمين على كل ما تداولته سابقا. مثل ما تشوفون هذه الباصات، وأنا أحب أني أذكر أمر مهم، يعني سعادة الشيخ جوعان بن حمد آل ثاني رئيس اللجنة الأولمبية كان دائما يحرص على قضية المواصلات، وهو نفسه شخصيا ذهب إلى مطار حمد الدولي ليطمئن على إجراءات الأمن والسلامة واستخدام ذوي الإعاقة للمواصلات الخاصة بهم. طبعا المنشآت الرياضية كان هناك تعاون بيننا وبين اللجنة الأولمبية ووزارة الشباب. طبعا كان هناك ملاعب للتدريب، ملاعب للإحمام، ملاعب للمباريات، منطقة خاصة لكبار شخصيات، منطقة للإعلاميين والإعلاميين من ذوي الإعاقة. يمكن هذه لقطة جميلة لسباق 400 متر أعتقد، كراسي. هذه يمكن تشوفون معانا، هذه مصعد واحد مجهز في نادي قطر، والمصعد سلس جدا لاستخدام ذوي الإعاقة، والمصعد هذا موجود إلى يومنا هذا. يعني الجمهور للحق أنه يتواجد في الملعب، للحق أنه يشتري تذكرته ويحضر أي مباراة. فهذه أحد المصاعد، ولله الحمد يعني تم تجهيز المصعد قبل 6 شهور من الفعالية. طبعا اللجنة الإعلامية كان هناك 15 من القنوات التلفزيونية، وقناة الدوري والكاس كان الناقل الرسمي، وكان العدد الإعلاميين المعتمدين بالبطولة 178 إعلامي. طبعا بس بعد طبعا تشوفون أنتم الجماهير وشكل الملعب والإعلاميين. وللعلم البطولة هذه كانت مؤهلة لريو، ولله الحمد عندنا لاعبين 2 تأهلوا لريو، وأحرزنا عدد فضيتين، اللاعبة سارة مسعود واللاعب عبد الرحمن عبد القادر. فلم نخرج يعني هكذا من هذه البطولة، كانت استضافة، نقل خبرات لنا، كانت أيضا دعم للمنطقة العربية بالأخص الخليج العربي. طبعا كانت عدة الرياضات ألعاب قوة، 100 متر، 200 متر، 400 متر، 800 متر، 1500 متر، 5000 متر، قرص، جلة، رمح، صولجان، وثب طويل، وثب ثلاثي، وثب عالي. وتم تحطيم عدد 55 رقم عالمي للعلم. المشاركون كان 2345 رياضيا ورياضية على الكراسي المتحركة، 799 رياضيا، 428 رياضية. عدد الدول المشاركة الأكبر كانت في بطولة العالم لذوي الإعاقة لألعاب القوى، عدد 93 دولة، 37 دولة من أوروبا، 15 من أمريكا، 13 دولة من الشرق الأوسط وشمال أفريقيا، 15 دولة من آسيا، 3 من أغناسيا. عدد اجتماعات الوفود 93 اجتماع صار. عدد البلدان التي أحرزت الميداليات 66 دولة. عدد الإجمالي للميداليات 623، 212 ذهب، 212 فضة، 209 برونز. طبعا الصين دائما هي في المرتبة الأولى، 41 ذهبية. النتائج موجودة أمامكم. الولايات المتحدة كان عندهم 13 ذهب، روسيا كان عندهم 24 ذهبية، 21 فضية. وأحب أني أشير لأمر مهم، كانت هناك لجنة المنشطات، ولجنة جدا كانت فاعلة، ويمكن على أثرها احنا ما نبي ندخل في يعني في بعض التفاصيل، على أثرها شفنا اللي صار في ريو فيما يخص سواء الأشخاص العاديين أو ذوي الإعاقة. طبعا إحصائيات بطولة العالم، الفنادق اللي أقاموا فيها، لأن أنا ما أمتلك من الوقت إلا القليل. طبعا هناك عدد 183 رياضيا تم تصنيفهم، من الإعاقة البصرية 40، 27 من الرجال و13 من السيدات. الإعاقة الذهنية 79، 48 من الرجال 31 من السيدات. أنا لما أذكر إعاقة ذهنية يقصدون بفئة الإناث. فئة الإناث هي المخولة أنها تشارك ضمن منظومة الIPC البارالمبيك. طبعا عدد قسمات وجبات الطعام 12291. التأشيرات اللي تم إصدارها 3077 تأشيرة، وتم إلغاء 800 تأشيرة. يعني كل الإحصائيات. طبعا عدد التذاكر التي تم إصدارها 32 ألف تذكرة. عدد الجهات الراعية 17 بما فيها شركة بي لأن هي راعية رسمية للبارالمبيك. عدد الرعاية الحالات الطبية 337، الحالات البسيطة 165، الحالات المتوسطة تقريبا 8 حالات صعبة، ولله الحمد لم تحدث أي حالة وفاة. طبعا العاملين في المجال الصحي الطبي 20 و32 في الإسعافات الأولية، و4 سيارات إسعاف، و10 مرافق طبية. كنا بانين عيادات طبية في كل الملاعب، سواء الإحماء أو ملاعب اللي تقام عليها البطولة. طبعا السلايد الأخير، أخوكم أمير الملا، المدير التنفيذي للاتحاد القطري لذوي الاحتياجات الخاصة، ومؤمن بقضية الإعاقة. وجدا نحن سعداء، مو بشرط أن احنا كجمعية أو اتحاد نقدم خدمات ميسرة لذوي الإعاقة، لابد أن المجتمع كله يتكاتف، وخاصة هناك قانون رقم 2 لسنة 2004 يضمن حقوق ذوي الإعاقة، ودولة قطر وقعت على الاتفاقية الدولية الخاصة بحقوق ذوي الإعاقة بالأمم المتحدة، وكانت دولة قطر داعم أساسي لاعتمادها من جميع دول العالم. وشكرا، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak, and I'm very honoured to be on such a great panel with these colleagues beside me. My name's Mark Todd, and I'm from Manchester in the UK. Manchester, which is of course very famous for its football team, which is Manchester City, not Manchester United, as we all know. I've been working in accessibility for many, many years. And in the last 20 years, I've started to work on large sporting events. Manchester hosted the Commonwealth Games in 2002, a multi-sports event with 17 countries competing. And I was the accessibility advisor for that. I work very often with organising committees and civic bodies, and I work with the IPC working with them on their IPC accessibility expert panel, pulling together accessibility standards for sports venues, for Paralympic Games and other venues around the world. I've worked in a number of countries, and I think what I wanted to say to begin with was every single country I've worked in has its strengths and also has its weaknesses and has different environments. And so quite often when I arrive, the first thing to do is to learn about what the environment is, see where the country might be at that time, and then work with them to produce an accessible sporting event. So in the recent years, I've worked with London 2012 Olympic Games and Paralympic Games. The challenges of the environment of a winter Olympic Games and Paralympic Games is very different. Working with Sochi in Russia and more recently in Korea. And at the moment working with Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games and Paralympic Games. And also working with the Premier League. The Premier League, which most people will know, has some of the best football stadia in the world. But again, they have very different challenges. From the brand new stadia, for example, the Emirates Stadia at Arsenal, very modern, fantastic stadium, to a historic stadium such as the one at Goodison Park with Everton. So working in very different environments, even within the football community of England, throws up very, very different challenges. I first want to talk about the principles of accessible design. For me, and this is my opinion, there are three main principles of accessible design. The first is equity, the second, dignity, and probably the most important, functionality. The point of equity is really that the starting point should be to avoid segregation of disabled people and those with accessibility needs wherever possible. But the most important thing is to give people the same quality of experience. That's why I use the word equity. It's not essential, and in fact it's undesirable, to treat everybody the same way in every single instance. You have to make it fit for purpose, and you have to make it work with the particular sport or the particular environment. And the other point about equity for me is that everything should be accessible. No area of a stadium, no service, no sport should be off limits to a disabled person or anybody else with an accessibility need. So for example, this gentleman watching his football team, Bohemians in Ireland, he doesn't need a wheelchair space, he doesn't need a ramp, he probably doesn't need the doorway to be very wide. But he does need a space where his assistant's dog can go, and he probably could do with commentary or audio description of what's happening at the game. So the type of thing he might need would be an additional service. So it's about giving this gentleman an equitable experience, working so that he can enjoy the experience of going to see his football team. Dignity. A venue, a football ground, an IPC venue should maintain the status of all people, whether they're the president of FIFA or a volunteer working on the tournament. It's very important, this point of dignity. Because if we make the stadium dignified and accessible for disabled people and others with accessibility needs, we need to think about disabled people of all impairments, not just wheelchair users. People with visual impairments, people who might have autism, people with learning disabilities. People with learning disabilities benefit from really good wayfinding, colour coding and signage. And of course, that benefits everybody else too. So sometimes things that we do for accessible design can benefit everybody. So a stadium accessible for disabled people is usually accessible to everybody. So it's important to have dignity. So this photograph that I'm showing now might show some very nice people helping somebody to get up 3 steps. And they are nice people doing a great job, but it's not dignified. Accessibility gives people the opportunity to present themselves in a dignified manner. So accessibility promotes dignity. Functionality. The simple things, the basics. You should be able to approach a building. You should be able to enter easily. You should be able to find the accessible entrance. It should be obvious architecturally. It should be easy to maneuver in and out of a space. Things should be easy to reach. Switches should be easy to reach and manipulate. And this should all be done as comfortably as possible. So functionality. So these are the things that really make lives easier for people. So colours around a door might make it easier for a visually impaired person with some sight to find a doorway to use it themselves without any assistance. A low counter at a reception desk makes the communication between the customer and the reception worker more dignified, easier for both the person providing the service and the customer. So functionality is very important. I'm being attacked by a fly. I shall continue. Whoops. But accessible design of itself is not enough. It's not an end in itself. So I think one of my colleagues earlier said that it's good to have a design which meets an accessibility standard, and that's a really important thing to do, but it's only important on paper. It's worthless unless it delivers a quality experience in practice. So during the football matches at Qatar 2024, it will all be about the experience. Do they leave Qatar with a wonderful experience of a fantastic tournament? And accessibility can deliver that for the disabled people and those with accessibility needs who come. So it's not about design, it's about everything. It's about venues, but it's about volunteering. It's about ticketing. The first step people usually make on a journey to a tournament is ticketing on the website. So the beginning of the journey starts at home, on your computer, when you first go on and log on to see how much are the tickets, where are the games, how accessible are the venues. So the beginning of the accessible journey often begins at home when people start to access information. I want to talk now in practical terms. We talked a little bit about the theory. I want to give you some practical examples from Paralympic Games and Olympic Games that I've worked with, which delivered very different Paralympic Games. I'll talk about the venues at London 2012. We wanted venues for everyone. So the photograph at the top left is a photograph at the show jumping, so the equestrian events. We created huge wheelchair spaces where people could mix. So you could go there with your family, with your children. In that venue, we decided to try mixing it because the type of people who went to watch the sport were often family groups. So we created big spaces where people could just move around, not dedicated wheelchair spaces. But we created venues where 1% of the capacity was wheelchair spaces. So that was 22,000 venue, and so we had 220 wheelchair spaces in that venue. We aimed at above the minimum standards that we have in the UK. We wanted to create something new and innovative that went beyond the minimum standard. We had companion seats, so you could go with your friend, but we also had family spaces where you could go with your family, with your children. Very important, we created spaces that gave you a good view of the sport. Too many venues create wheelchair spaces that don't have a great view of the sport. We tried to create some that were close to the field of play, low down, but also some elevated with a decent view of what was happening. We had lots of accessible toilets. We tried to have more than the required, and we tried to have different types. So sometimes there were accessible toilets inside the men's and the women's, but sometimes we had unisex. So you could go into a unisex toilet with an assistant who may have been of the opposite sex. Very important to have both provision. We had some changing places bathrooms with a hoist for those people with more care needs. And we had facilities for people who had an assistant dog, so they could get water for the dog or it could go to the bathroom. But it's important not to just create accessible venues in the built environment through design. We had sports presentation and commentary for blind people and visually impaired people, so they knew what was happening with the sport. We had induction loops for people with hearing aids, and we had easy access seats for people who could walk but could not walk very far or maybe couldn't manage many steps. So you could have a seat close to the entrance. And we had access to all areas. VIP areas were accessible, as well as changing rooms for the athletes. We made the ticketing work alongside it. We had a fully accessible ticketing website where you bought your tickets online. You did not make a telephone call. We had 10 million tickets to sell for London 2012. We did not want 100,000 phone calls about accessibility. We made it work through the website. It was very different at the Winter Games in Sochi. They were starting from a very different position. Russia was very much at ground zero in terms of accessibility, with minimal experience. But they did have an organising committee that was committed to improving accessibility for its citizens. And we created rapid growth in 3 years. Their new venues in particular met international standards, with wheelchair spaces, plenty of space, manoeuvring position and elevated views, and even parking for disabled people with blue badges. Rio again was very different. Rio did have some experience of accessible design. It did have an accessible tourism trade. Most of the things you would like to see in Rio are accessible to a degree. And it did aim for a high accessibility standard and high commitment. But of course, it also had fantastic weather, which doesn't half help, something we don't have in England. The challenge in Rio was they had a lot of existing venues, but they were old and in need of repair. And so the work was very difficult in Rio. So the Maracanã Stadium, that people will probably know, wonderful football ground, but so tired and so in need of a refurbishment for everybody. The challenges of creating accessible spaces in the Maracanã were enormous because they wanted to retain the historic stadium. So it was an expensive project and very difficult, but I think we did a pretty good job. So the way ahead. London did deliver highly inclusive games with inclusive venues. We have to remember that the UK has been doing this kind of work for more than 25 years. So the pressure was on in London. Everybody expected the games in London to be accessible. And so we did a reasonably good job, I think, but this was the product of a long time in development. Sochi, totally different. They had very little history of this kind of work, and they took giant steps in a short time. They made mistakes, of course, because of that, but their commitment was there, and they did do a great job. And I would suggest that Rio was somewhere in between the two. And I think the lesson is that no one place has all of the answers. I think we can all learn from each other, different perspectives, different cultures, different attitudes. And I don't think we should be impatient, and I don't think we should be complacent. So, next stop for me, Tokyo. Thank you very much for listening to me today.
Thank you, Mark. And in fact, Mark has said an awful lot of what I want to say, and I would back up wholeheartedly his approach to this. To give you some background, I was involved with the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa, where it was the first, as you're having the first Soccer World Cup in an Arab country in the Middle East, we had the first one in Africa. So there was quite a lot of pressure on, and in much the same way as Mark was talking about Rio, there was some high levels of commitment and high expectations in many ways. In terms of our legislation, in terms of our constitution, there was a requirement to make all the new facilities accessible. The trouble is, as what can often happen in South Africa, is that the reality sometimes falls well short of that high expectation. But we had the weather, we had the environment. That's the new stadium that was built at Greenpoint in Cape Town, with Table Mountain behind. And we built new stadiums because we found that to try and bring the older stadiums, Newland Stadium was going to be used, was going to be too difficult. And in doing it, we took the FIFA requirements, we took the local requirements, and then we said, let's try and beat these. Let's not work down to these as a bare minimum, but actually try and go above and beyond. And I think what's very important is the equality of approach to it, which is something that Mark mentioned. The very first designs for this new stadium, the architect had worked out how many wheelchair spaces he needed and provided exactly that amount in one block. And I said, yeah, but that's not going to work because that's actually not real inclusion or equality. If I come to a soccer match, I come with my family or my friends, and I'm the only one in a wheelchair. And if I'm sat on one side of the ground and the family is sat on the other, I'm not coming. And you're going to lose a lot of people. And I think it's important too that you give people the choice. Perhaps I don't want to be on level 2. I might want to be on level 5 or 6. And you've got to build that in. It does cause greater challenges for the design team, for the architects. And actually in evacuation planning, it caused a lot of headaches. But the benefit was enormous, where we'd put in ramps, because obviously we can't use lifts when there's emergency evacuations. We had wide ramps to come down from all the different levels. And when we did the FIFA requirements and the FIFA tests beforehand, we could empty the stadium of 55,000 people in 7 minutes. And that was because it was accessible to get people in. It aided everybody to get out, because we had these wide, gentle slopes to lead people out of the stadium. So the benefits do add to everyone. I think the other point of going through the whole stadium and making sure that it's accessible all the way through. It's not just the spectators, it's the VIP areas. I kept on telling people that the biggest VIP we potentially had visiting any of our stadiums was Nelson Mandela, who at that stage couldn't handle many steps. Did we want to turn him away because we built steps in? So everything was step-free, was barrier-free access into all areas. That included the players' areas. And I had some of the architects saying, but come on, we're talking about international footballers. They're not going to be in wheelchairs. Well, they might not be, but their physios might be. And also, we hope perhaps one day we might get the Olympic Games. So we get the Paralympic Games. We need to make sure that it's accessible to everyone. But also not having steps just stops people from tripping over. It just makes life easier. But I think the important thing was to challenge all the time. Let's not work down to the minimum. When the FIFA requirements, you work out the proportion that says 24 seats. Don't provide 24. There's nothing to stop you providing 25, 26, 30. What we did in some of the stadiums, we put detachable seats. So at the end of the row, we could take a couple of seats out. A wheelchair user could sit at the end of the row with his family. If those seats were needed for other purposes, they could be put back in. And actually building in flexibility into these stadiums was very, very important. The stadiums are in fact used for a variety of different functions. Now they're used for concerts and the like, and it must work in various different sets. So there are times when we close off part of the stadium, which might be for the performing stage, and that actually impacts on the evacuation routes. So building in this flexibility from the start was very important. The other thing that we did all the way through is we tested and tested and tested. We brought in different groups, quite small groups, quite focused groups, that could look at different aspects of the stadium. Does this work for you? Where can we improve it? We sat down with different groups beforehand and during the build. Now, working for the FIFA, the 2010, it became quite difficult because there was very, very limited time. We had little time to mess around. But many of the meetings we had, the chairman would often say, we don't leave anything on the agenda for next week. We make the decision today because we haven't got the time, we haven't got the luxury of being able to put this off to later on. And that focuses the thinking, but it's very important. And what we did is we brought in the different teams, and you'll see actually in the bottom corner, the guys with the numbers on their backs, they're actually from the architects teams, because I wanted them to hear what the feedback from the users were. And that was very important with other facets. Part of the legacy program of putting together the FIFA World Cup in South Africa was to produce accessible public transport facilities. And again, the same thing applied. We wanted the same approach for everyone. So it didn't matter whether you were blind, whether you're in a wheelchair, whether you had cognitive impairments, your experience of using the system needed to be the same. And we tested that all the way through. And we have specialized open days where we'll bring in a particular group of people and find out what works for them and what doesn't work for them. Where can we improve it? Because there was a comment made yesterday, can we ever make something 100% accessible? Can we ever tick the box and say, yes, we're there, we're 100% there? I don't believe we can, but that shouldn't stop us from trying. And I think it's constantly improving, and it's constant monitoring and how we can make it better and how we can improve it and learn from the experiences. And I think that's where these conferences come in useful as well, because we share the experiences to improve the next round. And so we move on. One of the areas where we use lots of local support, and I'll pass some of these around, was on the wayfinding and signage. For all the systems, wayfinding signage is important. For people with mobility impairments, you don't want to end up going too far. You want the shortest route. For people with cognitive impairments, or perhaps people that don't speak the local language, it's perhaps sometimes quite difficult to decide what language to put it in. We have the problem in South Africa of 11 official languages, but you'll have the problem when you have the FIFA games. You might want English, you might want Arabic, but then there's French, there's Italian, there's Portuguese. Who are you going to exclude? So what we decided to use as much as possible was to use pictures, to use pictograms. And we were actually having discussions yesterday as to whether those pictures should vary. I think they should. I think they should reflect local culture. And so what we did is we sat down with local societies, with blind societies, with children with autism, also provided feedback to produce some signs that everybody could use and feel comfortable with. And what we came up with, and these are tactile. We didn't use Braille because the decision was made that Braille is actually not universally accessible. The only people that can use Braille are the people that are taught Braille. So this is in large print, but it can still be felt. And we changed this. This is actually the colors of the My City system, so that it all links to the system. But this was produced by, and in close collaboration with Cape Town Society for the Blind. So they gave us a lot of feedback. Let me hand some of these around so you can just have a look and a feel, because I think it's quite important that people see those. And again, they benefit everybody by putting these in. We put the distance in because that's quite important from a mobility point of view. I might decide, okay, then it's 300 kilometers, I can make it, I'm not going to need a break. An elderly person might think, okay, it's 700 kilometers, I'm going to need to find somewhere to sit down en route. A blind person needs to know, okay, it's 700 meters. If I'm not there, if I've been walking for about a kilometer and I haven't found the station, I know I've missed it, I know I've got a problem. So it's giving people these informations. And we've actually gone to the extent of putting in, and you'll see, this is actually a tactile map. And we put these around all the stations. The circle is a 500-meter circle so that people know that's a distance. Because what we found is now we're putting people on the buses. People are so used to driving directly to the location that even local people don't know the layout of the roads to be able to walk there. So improve the non-motorized transport, the NMT facilities, so people could easily walk and get to and use the different facilities by using public transport and by walking. What we have is, and the same in Qatar, a climate where it lends itself for people to be able to walk and get to places on foot and to get to these different establishments. I found just in the few days I've been here in Doha that it's a very condensed place, that a lot of the places you can get to are within walking distance. And while, okay, you don't want to walk in the middle of the day, but walking in the evenings, there's a lot of places that you can easily reach. But the NMT infrastructure isn't there. Crossing the different roads is quite difficult, especially in a wheelchair. But I think the important lesson perhaps from this is don't be scared to innovate. Don't be scared to come up with some new plans. As far as we knew, this sort of thing hadn't been done before on the scale that we're doing it. And we had to invent new ways of doing it. And we sat down with local things. Does this work? And some of the ideas that we had didn't work with the communities. They came back and said, listen, forget it. I mean, our first attempts did have Braille on. And we were told, but most people in South Africa are never taught Braille. This is wasted. You're probably going to be talking to literally a handful of people in the country. But we can find a way that's going to work for a wider audience. So that's where I'll leave it. Thank you very much for your attention. And hopefully we've got some questions at the end.
What a great session to start day two. Please put your hands together again for Najla, Amir, Mark and Todd on 4 excellent presentations. We have about 15 minutes to take questions between now and the networking morning tea. So there's a question up the front.
When we host any type of these games, as you know, we have people coming from different countries with different background. I believe also by training disabled, there will be better using of all these venues. Is this part of what you are doing to train in each country, that train their, disabled and become aware how to use all the accessible area and in a better way?
I think Mark can probably answer that as better than me, but from my point of view, it's very important that you use local people and you train local people to do the assistance, to be the guides, to be the volunteers. They do need training. People need to be told, and it's just useful life training actually, but people need to be told, for example, how to lead a blind person. There's a way of doing it that makes people comfortable. How to approach someone in a wheelchair. These are basic lessons that people need to be taught. But I think it's important that you use local people and you involve the local disabled organisations in that training, because there are going to be customs that are slightly different in the different areas, and you need to be quite sensitive to that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that completely. And something that we also found was we made all the buses accessible in London, and the disabled people in London didn't know how to use the bus. They hadn't used the bus before. So we actually had some training packages on how to use the bus. Some of it was online. So a wheelchair user never used the bus in his life before. He didn't know, how do you stop the bus? Where do you pay? How do you get a pass? So we actually ended up having training for disabled people.
مختار الشيباني. سؤالي للمهندسة نجلة، يعني عرض ممتاز جدا وجميل وأمتعنا كخليجيين في أو كعرب حتى في المنطقة، والتحدي كبير لا زال إلى 2020. كيف تشوفين يعني المواطن دوره أو تهيئته؟ يعني لكل إيفنت اللي وجدناها كان فيه متطوعين، وكان حتى المجتمع المدني اللي ما يتكلم عربي يقولوا أنا أتكلم إنجليزي اللي كذا. فكيف الأويرنس بالنسبة للمجتمع القطري في تأهيته لهذه الدورات؟ شكرا.
مثل ما ذكرت أن أول شيء إحنا سويناه اللي هو منتدى التمكين، هذا جزء من تهيئة الناس في ورش عمل، في أن نخلط الأشخاص ذوي الإعاقة مع الأشخاص الثانيين، يصير في بينهم احتكاك أكثر بحيث أنهم يقدرون يتعاملون أكثر مع هالفئة. وفي نفس الشيء يعني أنا ما بتكلم بس عن اللجنة، إحنا دورنا إحنا بس، دور الحكومة، دور الدولة كلها، إنهم الحين صرنا نركز على هالشيء. يعني حتى في المدارس صار خلاص يعني الطالب عمره 6 سنين 7 سنين مهيأ تقريبا، إن صارت فكرة، يعني في فكرة إنه هو يتعامل مع هالأشخاص. فمثلا من الحين بعد 5 سنوات يصيرون هالأشخاص قادرين أكثر إنهم يتعاملون مع كل الأشخاص، مع يعني جميع الإعاقات. شكرا.
Do we have any other?
Last night, I went to Arurayan Stadium to watch the match. Unfortunately, the Saudi team beat Qatari 4-3. But 7 goals at the night. It was a great match. So I found the attendance, the stadium, no ladies on the stand. So in my country, Japan, 30-40% of attendance are female. Maybe in UK, Europe, maybe 10% of attendance is female.
Yeah.
So 2022 World Cup is not only a sport event, maybe the cultural, this is a good opportunity to feel world event and the cultural exchange. So my question is that, do you have any ideas, more local Arabic female come to the stadium and join the event? So do you have any special seat for ladies or families?
Yes, of course we do. We always dedicate like areas, we call it like a family area. It's mostly for like, let's say, Qatari women who prefer like to stay that areas.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. سؤالي لضيفينا من جنوب افريقيا ومن مانشستر، من تجربتكم يعني وخبراتكم ماذا يمكن تقديمه للمكفوفين اللي يعني يريدون الاستمتاع بهذه الأحداث الرياضية الكبرى، يعني من تجربتكم خلال كأس العالم 2010 وخلال الأولمبيك جيمز اللي يعني شاركتم في الإعداد لإمكانية النفاذ فيها؟
Well, in 2010, what we had at each of the stadium is that we had the commentary in a variety of different languages that was then provided, and blind and visually impaired people were given headphones and they could tune into whichever language they wanted to tune in with. And that was actually made available to everyone. And what we found is that, and again, I think this is a highlight of universal design, universal access. People saw visually impaired people with earphones and saying, "What these guys? What's happening here?" And what we found later on, and we didn't have time to do it, but we should have actually provided that service to everyone, because there are other people, perhaps not visually impaired, that would actually quite like commentary. You're seeing it more and more where people have commentary in a choice of languages. And I think that's very important, is that universal design affects everyone. Good design and the good aspects should impact on everyone. And I think that was one of the lessons that we learned, is we should have made that even more widely available.
In addition to that, I always find with large sporting events like an Olympic Games or Paralympic Games, it's a little more complicated to go to those sporting events than a one football match. So visually impaired people sometimes could have more problems. So what we did with the Olympic Games in London and also in Rio was we provided some additional services, and we also provided a ticketing product. So for the Olympic Games and Paralympic Games, a visually impaired person could buy a ticket, and we would give them a free ticket in addition for an assistant who would guide them to the games and to their seat if they needed it. So we used the ticketing process to help people. And we also provided a service where if you came alone, or maybe two visually impaired people came, we would provide a volunteer who would help you to find food and drink and your place in the stadium. So quite often with Olympic and Paralympic Games, we provide some additional services. Also services for people who maybe have a dog, who might have a guide dog. This happens a lot with people from Europe and people from the United States.
سؤالي للأستاذ أمير، عرض كان جميل جدا الخاص بتجربة قطر في الألعاب البارالمبيكس اللي نظمتوها. دائما بعد الحدث يقيم الإنسان نفسه وتجربته، هل فعلا يعني لو اتيحت له فرصة ثانية مرة يعملها بما هو أفضل وأحسن. الآن عندنا فرصة في أبو ظبي لاستضافة نفس الدورة، فإيش يعني هل تواصلوا معكم في أبو ظبي؟ هل في نصيحة معينة تقدموها لهم كمنطقة خليج مشترك؟ شكرا.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، شكرا على السؤال. بس قبل الإجابة عليك أستاذي الفاضل، حابب أرد على الأخ السائل من اليابان. أشار أن بالأمس كان في أستاذ نادي الريان وأستاذ جاسم بن حمد نادي السد، وقال إنه ما شاف سيدات أخواتنا السيدات فأنا أحب إني أكد عليه إن في دولة قطر ما في قانون يمنع دخول أي سيدة لأي منشأة رياضية. أنا كنت موجود في النادي وشاهدت سيدات، وكانت أسرة على سبيل المثال للحصر أسرة غانم المفتاح، طبعا هو عنده إعاقة متلازمة الذيلي، كان متواجد وتم تكريمه من أمير نادي والله نسيت اسمه، من مؤسس نادي الهلال. فكان في هناك تواجد نسائي ولله الحمد، مش بالكثير ولكن بالبسيط، ويمكن بعد يعني هو ما شاف بس احنا شفنا. بالنسبة لسؤالك أنا حابب إني أوضح شغلة مهمة. ألعاب القوى لذوي الإعاقة تحت منظومة الIPC تختلف نهائيا عن السبيشال أولمبيك. السبيشال أولمبيك للإعاقة الذهنية، وأيضا الإعاقة الذهنية اللي ما يندرج من ضمنهم أيضا فئة الإناث أو ضعاف التعلم ممكن نقول عنهم، اللي يندرج تحت مظلة السبيشال أولمبيك فئة الداون سندروم وفئة الإعاقة الذهنية الصعبة الشديدة بعض الشيء، ولكن هو يعني في مش معاق حركي. فالتنظيم يختلف تماما عن تنظيم ألعاب القوى لمستخدمي الكراسي، للإعاقة البصرية، للإعاقات الشديدة، فيكون أبسط وأسهل بكثير. طبعا الخبرات اللي اكتسبناها في دولة قطر، احنا عندنا شيء اسمه لجنة الإرث في اللجنة الأولمبية، هذه البطولات كلها هناك توصيات تطلع فيها. طبعا إذا فكرنا أن نستضيفها مرة ثانية أكيد الاستضافة بتكون سهلة وراح نتجاوز العثرات التي تعرضنا لها. يعني مثلا اليوم قضية المواصلات مهيئة، المطار مهيئ أكثر، في هناك إلمام أكبر من المضيفين الجويين والأرضيين على التعامل مع ذوي الإعاقة، هناك عدد كبير من المتطوعين والذين تم تسجيلهم في مركز قطر للعمل التطوعي، سواء من الأشخاص العاديين أو سواء من الأشخاص ذوي الإعاقة، يعني لديهم القدرة مع التعامل مع أخواننا من ذوي الاحتياجات الخاصة. طبعا يمكن احنا في بداية تدشين هذه البطولة تعاوننا مع المؤسسات المعنية لذوي الإعاقة أن تكون الأولوية لهم فيما يخص المتطوعين والمتطوعات. وشكرا على سؤالك.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation for all the panelists. I have two questions, but I would call them observation much more. The first one is when we're talking about accessibility, we have a tendency most of the time to emphasize the physical impairment. It's unfortunate. And we see from a design perspective, talking a lot about slopes or elevators, which is wonderful. But unfortunately, the population of the cognitive impairments, it's growing unbelievably, It's a very interesting concept also to be addressed from either behavioral or environmental perspectives, which will be an excellent thing to be aware of. The second aspect is, I do believe what you're doing, and I congratulate Sasol and all of the participants about what's going on here, because I do believe that the issue of accessibility is going to be a major issue in the Middle East. The reason is very simple. I think the casualties of these wars that are going on for now 5 and 6 years are generating hundreds of thousands of people who are on the cup. It's an unfortunate situation, but I believe there is an emerging trend that we need to pay attention to, that not only for tourism, but in every aspect of life, healthcare, retail environment, malls, and so on and so forth. My third observation, and I am an academician, I'm coming from academics, I think it would be because it's becoming not only a physical impairment, and I like the theory that you were using, that trilogy, the 3 aspects, and I would like to add to that the autonomy, which is becoming, whenever we're talking about, behaviorally, impairment or physical impairment, it's autonomy. How can we generate environments that are autonomous? Yeah. And for that, I urge the organizers, inshallah, in the coming events, if it's possible to include academia, School of Architecture, Qatar HBKU, Qatar Foundation. We have a lot of resources that can be put into, from I would call it from an intellectual, not return on investment. It's much more addressing issues that we can, what are the trends in the future? How can we, advance the game? And so on and so forth. Thank you so much. I will stop here.
We're coming to a close. We've got 2 questions there, if we can keep them brief so we don't eat into the networking time. Be great.
كم أنا عندي سؤال بالنسبة للكفيف. الكفيف طبعا المعلق هو يعلق للمبصرين وليس للمكفوفين. هل من الضروري أن ندرب المعلقين خاصة لوصف الصورة أقرب إلى الواقع في الملعب؟
Well, there's a lovely French commentating team. They're quite famous in France, unfortunately my French isn't good enough, where one of the radio commentators is visually impaired. Now think about it, he's a radio commentator and he can't see the action. So how does he do it? What he does is that he's with part of a team. The other 2 commentators describe what's going on the pitch. So they will say that, so-and-so's past so-and-so, what have you. The visually impaired commentator actually describes the atmosphere and starts saying, well, you can hear that the fans are now getting restless, there's a tension building up, and that's what he describes. So, and for me, we brought that team over and we introduced that team to the architects, because that was also getting over to the architects. Listen, guys, even in the press boxes, we need to make it accessible because we might have a guide dog in here. And they laughed at me when I said we might have blind commentators speaking on the radio. But we did, and it's a famous French team. So perhaps they need special training, but they will come. I think, if nothing else, build in flexibility, because as we know from academia, things change, things adapt. If whatever we build is flexible in its use and can be used in different ways, which is a principle of universal design as well, you build in that flexibility, you allow for that to happen.
Yeah, but I think everything we've heard about the venues has been very impressive in terms of the planning and implementation. I just wanted to touch for a moment upon the fact that football fans do things other than watch football whilst they're in the country. And I just wondered whether 2022, the Qatar Society will be supporting and promoting the Accessible Qatar app as a way of making sure that disabled football fans get full access to all the other things they will want to do when they're in the country, which includes eating.
spending money.
Do you mean spending money on such a?
No,
so-
that was just a joke. I think what we're just saying is that it's going to be very important for disabled fans to know that whilst they're in the city, where can they go to eat, where can they go to drink, what museums. Football fans do sometimes go to museums, but knowing that where the accessibility routes are to those and so on as well. As well as what's actually happening within the stadium and immediately around the fan zones, they will want to do other things. I think it's important that 2022 promote and share that information to ensure that people get the best experience of Doha.
Yes, of course, because we work in parallel with the stakeholders. We have like Ashghal for, we have the Qatar Rail, and we share all the information with them, and we get all the information from them. So sometimes, like we, when we have like today, if we have like a presentation, and I don't talk only about the Supreme Committee. Sometimes I share information about these other stakeholders that we work in parallel with.
So I was thinking more about when people with disabilities come to the country,
Yeah.
they're buying their tickets for the stadium and so on, that they're given information about where they get the information about which restaurants are accessible, which hotels are accessible, and so on. I think the Accessible Qatar app is a great way. Exactly, that's the answer to that. But they will need to be told by you. That's where they need to go to get the information.
Yes, of course. The plan is still going on. Sorry. Yeah, there is an app. Maybe I prefer someone from the marketing to answer a question because I work within the technical delivery office. I focus more on the design. So, but there is an application, of course. It's designed by the marketing and communication team within the Supreme Committee. So yeah, they can get all the information from.
I can comment on this as well.
Yes.
Thank you, David, for your inspiring question, and thank you, Najla, for your reply. Well, when we developed Accessible Qatar, before we launched it, we made sure to partner with institutions that will need this application or this initiative more than others. So the Supreme Committee was the first institution we approached to partner with, and this comment now triggers maybe something that we can discuss together. We are already partners in this, so we can discuss how to improve the application more in order to provide this type of information for disabled individuals who will be visiting Qatar during 2022. Thanks.
Okay, can I suggest any further questions we sort of adjourn and have a discussion over morning tea? Once again, if you'd please acknowledge the panel for a very informative session. And I'd also like you to acknowledge the Supreme Committee for Delivery and Legacy, who have been your hosts for this session this morning. There is a questionnaire being handed out. Please honestly fill that out, because that feedback is valuable to shape the future. Okay, morning tea is served out the back, and we're back here in about half an hour.